Hi, I'm Austin, driver of the S35 for TKO Racing, and this is Chasin Tails Podcast.
Out there on the water and wake these fans up a little bit.
No doubt.
All right, to start off today, we're going to go through some more boat updates that we were able to put together this week. First one we got is we heard from Matisse up in Valleyfield that the S57 is going to be coming out with a new look this year. Obviously, you've got the look that they had last year, and it sounds like it's not a full design yet, but what I understand is they'll be going off an old Patrick Howarth GP color scheme. And, we're looking forward to seeing what that looks like when they bring it out next year. Obviously, that boat was very competitive at the end of the year, and, I think the new paint job is going to look sweet, and it'll be fun competing against them again this year.
Hopefully it's Patrick's his last GP that he had with the double-sided, the pink, and that looked awesome.
Yeah,
there it is right
one.
there.
Yeah, that one was cool.
Yeah,
I remember that
dope.
boat. That was
Real
awesome. So I don't know if they're planning on doing like the side-to-side split. Maybe they'll go front to back, but I do believe he said they're going for the pink and blue color scheme, which
that would be sweet.
It's such a cool combination of colors.
That's cool. He really improved towards the end of the year. I feel like they got that Honda figured out. Obviously, I think he won the last two finals. It's going to be interesting to see how he comes out, if he comes out stout in Cambridge, and how he goes out through the whole rest of the HRL season.
Now you definitely tell that over the year they started to figure out that Honda as the season went on. So it seemed like they got a pretty good grip on it by the end of the year. So definitely gonna be some tough competition this year.
Cool.
All right, next up we got the GP15 with Greg Hopp Racing. I know they got a new sponsor this year in Old Trapper Beef Jerky, so that would be cool. Get another business company out there promoted on the water. Obviously, be awesome opportunity with the GP series this year, and from what I understand, not going with anything crazy in terms of new paint. Obviously, I'm sure they'll be getting the new sponsor on the boat, and I think we did with our 2.5, they had a little bit of pinhole trouble for a little bit. So obviously, I think they were able to get that sorted out, and looking forward to seeing what the new boat looks like this year.
Who wants to take this bet? I bet $20 it's going to be yellow.
No way.
That thing's been yellow since what the.
Since it was born, man. Wasn't this the Alamo to start? So it was yellow when it was brand new.
It was yellow and blue. Yeah.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah,
Was it all yellow or was it yellow and blue? I thought.
I think it was yellow with like blue stripes.
Or something
I'll
like that.
find a picture and we'll look at it. But
yeah,
this team works hard every winter. They're rebuilding this boat. I mean, this boat is from the '98 era, I think. Built as an unlimited light, so it's meticulous, making sure it's ready for the season. Preparation wins races, and this is where races are won here, getting ready for the season. So they definitely work hard.
last summer they were stout. They were consistent. They were finishing heats and fast. So they're going to be up there in the mix this year.
It definitely seemed like they took a step forward this year. Like watching a couple
With
of
2023,
races.
yeah.
Yeah, big time.
Yep. Oh yeah.
It'll
So
be another boat that's going to be in the mix in that GP series. Like we said, pretty much all of them are.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
And they're even the ones that maybe we don't know much about. Who knows? Those ones could be in the mix. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yep.
Next up, we got the F499, or I guess still currently owned by John Peters. He did just post this boat for sale earlier this week. Spoke to John a little bit, and for those of you who don't know, he is involved in the new E1 boat racing league, the one with Tom Brady and all the big names. So he's one of the team principals there. Cool seeing a new version of boat racing. I'm excited to see how that evolves. Obviously, first year, and it will be so cool to see what comes of that in the coming years. This boat's fast, that's for sure. I think second place last year in the Formula 2500 championship in HRL. Definitely one of the few boats to give John Shaw and the Tenacity a run for their money throughout the year, and John did a great job driving it. anybody that does buy this boat, you will be getting a competitive boat, and I believe he's selling full package, like turnkey, ready to go. You can drop it in the water in a week or two.
It's a good boat. Peters, he had a nice clean rig, and if you're looking for something where you don't want to have to strip it down, redo it, fix the boat, this is the one to buy. It's definitely, if you're ready to go racing, this is it.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's like 45,000 is what they're asking for a race ready haul, and I mean that's to be competitive. That's pretty awesome. And how unique is this thing? Look at all them fins all over that boat. And the guy never
the aero
stopped.
package does come with the boat.
I did see that in One Secret. If you buy it, One Secret. But I mean, look, you never stop trying. You don't see this kind of things on many other boats out there. But obviously, he learned something. He's done a lot in outboards, set a lot of kilo records. So
There's
the guy
a reason
knows
why
a lot
he's
of things. Yep, and I think he's
why
also
he's
the
an E1 principal. So
Yep, and he's I think the world record holder for electric boat now with
Yeah, he
the
just set
Princeton
that
team.
this past year, I think.
Yeah, so that's pretty
awesome.
cool.
Is this boat a newer hull, or was it another boat?
Tyler
like
Cadets.
Tyler Cadets is okay.
Yep.
Yeah, this was one of the first ones with the new era Henderson sponsons.
Yep.
Complete boat built.
Gotcha.
I don't know how Tyler fit in it.
A lot of grease.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, next up we got the S20 from Wilson, Jim and Tina Wilson. Boats just got built this year up at Henderson Hydroplanes by Bert and Jamie. Little unique thing with this boat, they are going with a 350 cell for just to have a little bit larger cell, create a little bit more space for Tina, who from my understanding is the one that's going to be driving.
I think it's Tina and Brandon.
Tina and Brandon, okay.
Yeah, they. I talked to them today. I was over at Tina's house, and Brandon was there, and they're pretty excited. It's still at Birch. They're getting it back. They won't make Caesars Creek. She asked me when Edgewood was, so maybe they're going to try to make Edgewood.
Okay.
But Brandon did say their boat they ran last year is not sold, so they'll be running 2 boats.
Awesome.
Nice.
Sweet.
That's cool.
That's great
Yeah.
for the class.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
awesome.
It'll be interesting to see how Tina does in a boat that's not open cockpit.
Yeah.
She's
right.
claustrophobic, which is why
Yeah.
she's always drove with the open lid, as you know, Bob.
they're-
And
Yeah,
They're
maybe
meant
that's
for
why
the
she went with the
350
big
cell.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe she'll take the windows out and just have a little
probably needs that wang.
Now it's I was surprised when I was looking at these pictures. The cell, and it might be a little bit of an optical illusion. It doesn't look that much bigger on the boat. I mean, I'm sure you guys might think differently. I don't know. To me, it just doesn't. Definitely sits farther back, but
Once
it'll be
it,
interesting to see.
I think because it's gray, it's hard to tell. But I think once you get it painted, you'll notice it's bigger. But who knows? In person, it might look fine.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it'll be interesting to see how they, how they figure that out with balance, and if they have to do anything unique to compensate for the size of the cell, the center of gravity.
I hope
They
it
will
works.
be doing their flight.
Yeah, that's
the yoke
already rigged
steering
up.
again.
Oh wow.
Yoke
I hope
wing.
this works because if it does, it opens the door for a lot of different sized people to get in the 2.5 stock class rather than,
Yeah.
oh, I'm too tall for this cell. Oh, I'm not wide enough for this little small Henderson cell. You go to this, pretty much anyone can fit in this.
Yeah.
Now, I don't recommend being like a big 280-pound football player getting in a 2.5 stock. You need a little bit more horsepower, but this
Right.
opens the door for a lot more size people, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Absolutely. Next up, we got the E55, driven by Rob Becky. This boat was, I believe, white, black, and red last year.
Yep.
I think it was actually, they had a bit of a scary incident in Caesars Creek. Him and Gary Chalfant came together in one of the 350 heats. Fortunately, both drivers were okay. The boat, I know both boats were beat up pretty good. I'd say the 55 probably a little bit more so. But the red paint job looks awesome, man. I thought it looked great last year with the white and the black and the red, but the all red looks awesome. I'm really excited to see what this looks like once they get all the details on, or the decals on, and the number and everything. It's definitely a cool looking boat.
So I know our next one is to Bobby King, but I'm going to throw out right now. Yannick is coming back to 350. Supernova H21. I'm excited. I'm a fan. He's definitely going to be competitive in the 350 class this year in HRL. So that's pretty cool. He went up and got a taste of GP, lived his dream, and now I think he's going back where his heart is. So that's going to be pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, he's picking up a fast boat, Nick Roos's old boat, so it's always been a fast boat, even from, I think, when Chasin had it, so it's going to be a good one, and Yannick and that team is just awesome to be around. They're great for the sport of hydroplane racing, and glad to have them stay in the sport and not just leave and go back to where their roots are.
Yeah, great family.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I didn't know Yannick. I don't know if I had ever met him until this year, but at Valleyfield, finally got to meet him and hang out with them a little bit that night after I think it was the night of the fireworks, and had a good time, had some beers, and seems like a really good dude.
Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing him get out there in the 350 class this year.
Yeah, he's not a very good beer pong player. We learned that in Valleyfield a couple years ago.
Yeah. That was
But
2
his
years
kids
in a row
are.
playing beer pong at his at Valleyfield at night
Yep.
at his hauler.
Yep, that was a good time.
Oh yeah.
No doubt. So the last boat update we got this week, nothing new with the boat necessarily, although the boat did undergo some, I believe, some sponson updates up at Henderson Hydroplane, some weight reduction treatment.
Yeah, just kind of gone through weight reduction, new cowling. It's an older boat, but they went and threw it a lot more this year, and definitely going to come out on the weight limit and be quick.
Yeah, and more importantly than the actual physical boat updates, we found out earlier, or I guess middle of last week, that Bobby King is going to be not taking over driving duties, but taking over driving duties at some of the races this year in the GP50. And obviously Bobby's a pretty well decorated driver in the boat racing world, so it'll be cool to get another top flight driver in that GP series. And Ken will still be driving, which Ken's always been a competitive driver, and it's awesome seeing him out on the water as well as part of a family. Both families been around in the sport for forever, as long as I'm concerned. Definitely since I've been alive.
Yeah, Bobby King's definitely a great addition to our class in the GP. 2.5 stock. He put Al Thompson's boat up front, 350. He has his boat. Went and set records, and then got in the hydrofish in Gunther'sville last year. Went and won. He's driven the GP 50 a handful of times, so it's definitely gonna be great having him more involved in the class rather than just driving here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to have him on the podcast this week. Let's get to talking to him. We'd like to welcome on to the Chasin Tails Podcast our guest for this week, Bobby King. He is the new driver of the GP50 this season. He's won Valleyfield twice. He's won HRL Championships, and he's a world record holder. Plus, he's an H1 Unlimited driver. Glad to have you on, Bobby.
Oh, thanks for having me on, guys. Excited for what you guys are doing. Hats off to you for the Chasin Tails podcast, and it's cool to be here.
Yeah, man. So first off, GP50, tell us how that materialized. You were going to drive another Grand Prix, and then I guess Ken Brody reached out to you to try to up his game a little bit. How'd that happen?
Yeah, so I've been kind of doing the whole backup thing for Ken for a while, and then obviously the Brody and the King family, we definitely go way back, and Ken was kind of asking all winter what I was going to do, and I was obviously helping the Shalers and everything and getting their stuff ready to roll, and just kind of the way everything fell and kind of what Ken was offering, it was just wanted to jump over there and go do this with the 50 guys. So yeah, it's kind of always been there, I guess, a little bit, and just kind of bite the bullet and see how 2024 goes.
There you go. Now, I remember you were the backup for that boat for a while. Did you ever drive it? I can't remember off the top of my head.
Actually, yeah, I did a bunch of testing in Grand Island, at Don Les's house and stuff, and then I did have one heat in the boat in Cornwall. Ran one heat, and actually they had forgot my dad's seat, so I was kind of swimming around in Ken's boat. I was gonna drive it a little bit more, but I was just whenever you stand on the wing pedal and it would just kind of push me up in the seat. I was like, well, maybe you should just drive this one. We'll wait for the other seat.
Yeah. Can only go for a boat ride at that point. Now,
Exactly.
I heard a lot of different things happening in the team, new tuner and Jeff Scott, and you guys obviously excited. Tell us a little bit more about the rest of the GP50 team. What do you think's going to happen with them? You got to compete against Joe Less now in 350. Is he going to beat you, or is there team orders?
Yeah, no. Me and Joe are good. You know, the 350s 350 and GPG is GP, but yeah, no, I mean, you know, the whole team is pretty excited for it. Yeah, we're going with you know, Jeff Scott's going to be tuning the engines, you know, which is huge, and you know, excited for that. And yeah, Ken and Don Less have just put a lot into this boat this year. You know, new engine program. Boat went up to see Bert and Jamie. You know, cut some weight out of the thing. You know, really took a look at it structurally. So you know, for it's a new old boat, I guess. You know, and they're pretty excited. So we got some testing to do and stuff, and you know, kind of maybe figure out some balance points, stuff like that. But the guys in the 50 shop, I mean, everybody in this group has, you know, seen their equipment, and it's, you know, top notch, and they take care of everything. You know, John and Blecky and Sal and all the boys over there, they're just, you know, they're good at what they do. They really take care of equipment. I mean, the boat for being a 2008 boat,
Yeah.
you know, that thing is in immaculate shape. They've always taken care of it. So yeah, the big thing is just kind of get my feet wet in it. You know, each one drives a little bit differently, and I've only ever been in a couple of them. You know, from the baby doll to the Steeler, but it's only kind of been one ride here and there. So you know, it'll just be getting used to the boat during testing, and then you know, obviously with the challenge series and everything, and even just going to Cambridge. I mean, got, you know, the whole TKO racing team, you know, the Luptons, everybody. It's just going to be a got to learn fast process, because there's some boys that can really roll out there, and yeah, just going to kind of have to roll with the punches. But I'm excited. I think we're going to have something this year.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Definitely going to be good having you full time. I got you rated in my top 5 drivers. I'm at the top, by the way. Not you, but you're in there. But there is things I want to be like you at. That's why I put this shirt on, got chest hair. You know, I'm trying to be like Bob King every now and then.
There you go.
That's where the shirt was from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
word just for Bob.
Confused when we got on.
So I know we got some questions of what's your feeling difference. Obviously, you've run everything from 2.5 stock up to H1 Unlimited. Tell us a little bit about maybe what your favorite feeling is in a boat. And obviously, a lot of people want to know what the H1 feeling is compared to these other limited hydroplanes.
You know, I think they all kind of. I can never really pick one. You know, as you guys know, just jumping in a race boat's fun. I don't care if it's a T boat, you know, a sea hydro, and unlimited. I mean, anytime you get into a race boat, and if you're a driver, it's a fun time. And but yeah, each one's kind of got their own little quirks and their own little things that they like about it. You know, the H1 to me is just a big momentum game. You know, once you get 7,000 pounds rolling, you got to keep it rolling. And even if you let your foot off the gas, the thing just keeps trucking for a little while. So, you know, they're big boats. You know, it'll tell you what it's going to do. You just got to listen to it. But yeah, it's definitely a momentum game up there. You know, as far as Grand Prix and 350, that's just kind of hold on and stand on the gas. Boat, you know, GP is just, when you stand on it, it's instant, and you know, you got to be paying attention all the time. And we run, you know, typically, especially here out east, a lot smaller race courses, you know, so it's you know, physically pretty demanding deal, you know, as far as like you get to courses like Berhornois and Brockville and everything, and you know, you're holding on to that whole race boat in your two hands, and it's just it's really demanding. You know, H1's very demanding too, but at least, you know, you straighten the thing up, you get a second to breathe, because it's a long ways in a straight line at pretty much all of them race courses. And then yeah, for me, 350, you know, that's just that one's just set the boat up to blow over all the time and do things. You know, that's kind of the way those things are. So you're really on edge in all of them. But yeah, each one of them's got their own little quirks, and something that I just like in particular about each one. I couldn't really pick out, you know, a favorite class, but yeah, you know, all of them are enjoyable to drive. That's for sure.
I will say you're getting my hopes up for the possible chance of driving a 350 this year. Just stand on it and try not to blow over. I'm liking it. My mom might not be,
I'll
but
always be. You know, I started in 2.5, and I'll definitely always be a 2.5 guy. But I mean, you know, 350 is just, those boats are awesome, and you know, the amount of competition, especially you know, HRL and APBA. You know, in APBA, it's getting to be a lot like, 2.5 stock. You can pretty much show up, not talk to anybody, and there's probably going to be a couple of boats there to race against, which is really, really cool, and it's just, 350 is definitely where it's at. If you want to race, that class, and, included just like GP, I mean, there's a lot of boats, and just to make the finals, a big accomplishment, 20 some boats, and only, something, depending on where we're at, 6 to 8 are going to make the final. Like, all right, we did something, but, then it's 6 or 8 of, the best for that weekend. So you're just always on your toes in that class, man. It's awesome.
Those finals are always fun to watch, the HRL 350 finals.
Oh, dude, it's had some great finals already. And I'm, only on the boat for, a couple of years. And it's just been, every time you go out there, you're like, well, it's not like, oh, we just got to worry about this one guy. So, we got to worry about like 5 of these dudes. So here we go.
It's the whole field.
Yeah, so I guess another one that was asked was, do you think, is Graham Trucking going to come out? Are they running the West Coast Swing or anything this year in H1?
Yeah, so I'm not this weekend upcoming. Next weekend I'll be headed out to Seattle to get fit for the boat and stuff, and get a seat poured, and we're all going to sit down and talk and kind of see what this season looks like. I'm very confident that Rob is going to run in some form and fashion in H1. Now, whether that's just the West or just the East, that's 100% Rob's decision, and obviously, Grand Prix is expensive, just multiply it by 100 and, there you are, you're running unlimited. So, I'm just happy to be up there, and I'm pleased with whatever decision Rob decides to make. And I mean, just any opportunity to get to climb into one of those things and do that, because I'll definitely take any chance I can, because I'll be the first one to admit I didn't really think that I would ever sit in one of those seats, and to actually make it up there is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Awesome.
It's definitely one of them things, watching your dad as I grew up and seeing him get to unlimited through GP. And funny story about that is he was actually my hero over my dad when I was about 6 years old. I always cheered for Jimmy King, and my dad would get all upset. And now it's flip-flop, because my son Theodore cheers for Bobby King, and I'm not looking forward to this year now that we're competing. It was all cute and fine and dandy when you were on a different course, but now it'll be pretty funny, but kind of crazy how 30-some years later it's about the same deal.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. No, it's all really, this sport's just a big family sport. That's the best thing about it, and watching all the kids grow up. Because to be honest with you, I used to be one of the kids in the pits, and I'm starting to getting to be one of the old men in the pits now. So, it's cool to watch as time goes on with the sport and everything, and kind of how it's evolved and all that stuff. So super.
Was your dad your biggest hero growing up, or did you have another racer that you looked up to?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much my dad, man. Just that, like, you guys have all seen that guy's.
Yeah.
It's a good one to look up
for
to,
sure.
sure.
So do you work out? You lift bricks with him getting ready for the Grand Prix, or what's your workout routine?
I don't. Yeah, exactly. I mean, mine's always free. All I have to do is walk out behind the shop, just grab 2 8-inch cinder blocks, and just run with them, curl them, do whatever, man. But yeah, for sure. It helps with helps. I'm not a bricklayer, but I can definitely see how, like, that would have helped.
Yeah.
It definitely makes you strong.
Yeah. You guys got anything else? Questions?
No, not really, man. I think that those were some pretty darn good questions. We did get asked, I think, what kind of shampoo do you use?
Kind of shampoo do I use? Oh man, kind of whatever's in the shower, whatever Christy buys these days. So I get some of the nice expensive shampoos.
There you go.
And then the other question, this comes from Dan Canfouche. Do you think having all 10 toes gives you an advantage in GP over Brandon?
Oh man, I don't think so. When it comes, Brandon's got a lot of wins. Has already had an amazing career up to this point. So I mean, 10 toes, 9 toes. I don't think it makes a difference with him. You're just gonna have to be there at the start line, see him in the first turn, and kind of hold on.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Absolutely.
Yeah, I did have to say, I have seen an improvement since you got yourself a girlfriend. You got tied down. I think your driving's improved a lot. You're a little more calm, collect. That's how you set the record. You know how to float it now. A little calmer.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. For sure.
So since Bobby's not on, I guess we'll do his rapid fire questions. We're gonna just try to do them as quick as possible. Wristwatch or onboard clock?
On board.
Yes or no? Do you like to talk back to your radio guy or silence?
Yes, we'll talk back to him for sure.
American Woman by Lenny Kravitz or Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus?
American Woman.
Race course, would you pick Cambridge or Tonawanda?
Cambridge.
Gas or electric car?
Gas.
We already touched on this one, but what kind of shampoo do you use?
I have to go read the bottle. Something fancy.
Movie, Top Gun original or the sequel, Maverick?
Top Gun, the original.
Do you prefer smooth or rough water?
Rough water, actually.
And Bobby wants to know if he can drive your boat once.
Hey, you never know what the future holds, man. You never know.
Keep them open.
Exactly. Yeah, well, we appreciate you coming on and look forward to seeing you out there in the 2024 season and racing against you in the GP Challenge, and I'm sure we'll be talking again.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me on, and can't wait for 2024, boys.
Yeah, let's get it
For
going.
sure.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming
Thank
on,
you.
Bobby. Like we did with the APBA circuit last year, we're going to announce our HRL 2020-23 champions. In the novice class, we had Oliver Messinov. In the 2.5 liter class, we had Grant Liddycote in the Send It. In the Formula 2500 class, we had John Shaw driving the Tenacity, owned by Al Thompson. In H350, we had Michael Tremblay driving the Last Minute Again, owned by Tom Vilhauer. In the JSS class, we had the JS10, owned and operated by Jimmy Stewart and Pagawancio. And then in the Grand Prix class, we had the GP88 Hydrofish, driven by Andrew Tate and owned by Huey Newport.
I think Tremblay has one of the most solid mustaches out there.
I don't know. I don't know. They all try to grow them for Valleyfield. So you got him, you got Andrew, Bobby King.
Yep.
Like, who's got the best mustache?
No, but
That's
no
what
one,
they should do
no
that
one
on the
beats,
stage.
No one beats Jimmy King's mustache from back in the day.
you
His
can't.
was so big.
Yeah.
Dude, Uncle G had a good
Bush.
one back in the day,
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that interview you posted.
Him wearing the
Yeah.
hat, he literally looked like Dale Sr.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then you got Mike Monahan. He looked like just something straight out of a freaking 70s, 80s porn movie. Maybe it was him. I don't know.
Might have been.
So anyway, like, we look at this HRL field and the champions, and now we look at the 2.5 stock field for next year, the S class. It looks like a stacked field. I mean, who's your pick to win the championship besides yourself? You can't pick yourself. Obviously, we'd do that every time, but I mean, you got some new people in there, and got some people that won some finals last year. Who do you think's going to be top runners? Who's going to be your biggest competition this year?
One person I'm really looking forward to is Remy. I'm gonna butcher his last name so badly, but Bavalian. He's a new driver this year, and I don't know if anyone's really been following him on his social media presence, but he's been all over it. Really, really pumped up to get behind the wheel, and I know he did a little bit of testing, maybe last season, wherever they test up in Canada, and I'm excited to see what he can do. I know when people are amped up to get into the sport, they can do some pretty cool things. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'd
he's
say
from France, so he's
Yep.
going to be the first actual French driver, not Canadian French driver. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
No doubt. Yeah, I think outside of us, in terms of competing for a championship, obviously we're being optimistic and hopeful. I'd say just with the way he finished last year, I mean, Matisse is going to be good comp. He like I said, I really seem to get that Honda figured out towards the end of the year, and as they figure out more with setup on the bow, because I'm sure they're now looking at things not just in the engine now that they got a decent hold on that. He was fast. There's a couple times where I was there with him or even ahead of him coming out of the first turn, but once we got onto that straightaway, I just heard the screaming of that Honda getting closer and closer until it was started getting quieter and quieter, going away from me. So hopefully we'll have a little bit more for him this year, especially later in the season once we get a better grasp on the new boat. But I'd say outside of him, I'm really excited to see what Kenny Brody can do this year, second year in the boat. He definitely, it seemed like, as he raced more last year, he started getting more comfortable. Obviously, it's always tough to come back from such a spill, a blowover so early. So it was cool to see him start, gaining his confidence back with that. And I think he's gonna be a tough one to beat as well. That boat was fast when Eddie drove it, and I'm sure it's just as fast now. And like I said, as Kenny keeps getting more confident and more comfortable with the boat, he's gonna start pushing his way towards the front of that field.
I believe, isn't Aiden Sovey going to be driving some too?
I would assume so. Yeah, I know Kenny with hockey's not going to be able to make it
Yeah,
in the race.
so I think-
and Aiden drove last year as well.
Yeah, so that's cool. Aiden comes from a great family, the Sovies. His dad Joe was a good driver, so it's going to be exciting to see him in the boat and share that ride and watch both kids go out there and have a good go at it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I have anything to add. I think those are going to be the top runners in this class. It's going to show another competitive year, 2.5. So I think HRL did the right thing to split the class, give some guys let them get some experience without being in the Formula 2500s. Obviously, once you move up to that class, it's like there's no inches given. So it's good to give you guys a get your feet wet moment, and makes the competition a lot better in the S class and kind of really tightens it up in the 2500s.
Agreed.
So what about 2500s? Let's take a look at them. There's a lot of fast boats, man. I see Owen Henderson. You got Grant Lettycoat stepping up. Obviously, the last year's champion, and John Shaw with Al Thompson's boat dominating. But a lot of people have been working hard this winter, plan to go testing in Caesars Creek next week. I don't know. I'd have to say one that I think had some struggles last year that I really feel is going to be strong is Mark Lalonde. He's fast, but they just had a lot of misfortune, a lot of bad luck. Took him out of the championship race, and I think they're going to pull it together this year, going back to one boat, and I think he's going to be fast as well.
I think I have two picks for the F class where who's going to improve the most. I believe. If you look at the times from Behornois, the F113 Samuel Tremblay, I believe had the fastest time of the weekend.
Yep.
So they're figuring out that Honda. So I think that boat is going to come out swinging at the beginning of the year. And then my second pick that I have is going to be most improved is Eddie Camfouche. Eddie's saying he's coming out with a 2300. I'm calling bluff on that. You don't go out and buy a $14,000 Honda just to let it sit in the garage. I mean, I know he said his dad wants the Ford because he can get in there and work on it, but he wouldn't have bought the Honda if that was the case.
Man, Dan wants to go golfing. He don't want to work on
Dan
motors
wants to
no
go
more.
golfing.
You know he likes this Honda thing.
And
you don't have to touch it.
And I'm calling it right now. They put that Honda in there. You're going to have Timmy Collins and Jim Scheckler, who have 20 years experience with these gearboxes, looking at data and working that gearbox to make that boat go faster. Because Timmy Collins is very strong on data, so that I'm pretty sure that's the lineup for that team. It's going to be Jim and Scheckler helping out with Jim Scheckler's old driver Dan Camfouche and Eddie in the boat, and I think it's going to come out with a Honda and be fast.
Yeah, I think even if they stayed with the Ford, just Eddie getting another year under his belt and more data on that boat, I think they'll have a better year regardless of if they switch that Honda or not.
He had some issues, the little accident in Valleyfield, and then I think was it Behornois or was it?
Yeah, Behornois.
Where
he
it
had
blew
that
the
hook
sponson
that
apart?
blew the sponson out. Yep.
Yeah, so he's going to improve a lot. I mean,
another one like Lalonde, just some bad luck.
There's a lot of stout guys in this class. I mean, you have Guillaume Charette. He's coming to Caesars Creek to test. He's going to be no slouch. He did he take over the boat? Full owner of the boat.
I think so.
And then I know he had some engine issues last summer that held him back. So looking to see them improve. So it's
that's your old boat.
It's
got new sponsons on it.
My last 2.5 stock.
Yeah, they were talking about that today. Go ahead.
And Owen Henderson, I mean, he had some bad luck last year. He needs to focus on his starts, focus on getting through the first turn clean, and he's got a good shot. He's fast. John Huganier will put whatever they need in the boat to get it up front, so that'll be exciting.
The flying watermelon.
One boat that we
Literally.
didn't mention that I think is worth mentioning is Michael Tremblay driving the S5 or the F555 next year. That boat's moving up to that class. That boat was really fast in 2.5. Obviously struggled with some steering problems, and I don't. Obviously, they're moving to Michael, who just won a 350 championship. So you got talent in the driver's seat. I think that boat might be one to surprise some people. But moral of the story, John and Al got a fast boat. They had it running great last year, but they got a lot of people coming for them. That's a competitive class, and you got probably a good 4 or 5 guys that I think all want to have something to say about that championship next year.
Yep,
For sure.
It's one problem with being on top. There's only one way to move. So I mean, they're fast, but some guys are coming. So
Yeah.
I'm sure they're working hard to try to stay on top. I mean, I know they're not just sitting there during the winter celebrating all winter. They probably celebrated at the gala and then said, "Time to get to work. Let's see what we can do."
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
No doubt.
I know they're heading out to Caesars Creek as well. And then John was telling me this weekend that they logged 180 some laps last year at Caesars Creek. So you wonder why they're so fast, and it's about those things: being prepared to go test every propeller, every rudder, every skid fin, anything you can change, and just collect data.
I
the
did hear
entire race
hear
season
a
worth of
rumor. Did hear a rumor about the F class, but I'm not going to drop it because it's just a rumor, and we know how that works. I mean, so if this is true, and they do allow another boat in the F class, it's going to shake up things a lot. So it'd be exciting to see over the next couple of weeks how that unfolds.
Yeah, see how that plays out.
What about the 350 class? Obviously, we got to chat with Bobby earlier, and that's talked about how stout that class is overall. You got Michael ran a great season last year. That boat's fast. I mean, I didn't know how fast that boat was until the first race of the year, Cambridge, watching him run right there with Andrew Tate for 5 laps in the Pennzoil or the Bird. That was an awesome boat race to watch,
Yeah,
and
For sure.
you got cadets in that class. You got you got the Bull Shark that I think is going to have an improved year again this year. Like you said, got the updated sponsons. The 666 got the updated sponsons. Got Kent Henderson. I'm missing people. I mean,
You got Yannick.
Yannick,
Yannick.
yeah, absolutely. Got Yannick. Yeah, I mean, that class is just loaded with great drivers and really fast boats.
That's going to be a really awesome class to watch throughout the season. Not just the final, but every heat. It's going to be a battle. I mean, it's a loaded no matter what. Just like GPs, it's going to be awesome.
And we just inserted Bobby King's Jeep or 5-liter into it. I believe they announced
Yeah.
he's going to be running the HRL series with that this year. So
crazy.
there's another wicked fast 5-liter.
Yep.
350.
Yeah, I don't really think you can put odds on who's going to win a championship, because there's going to be people that have disappointment weekends when they're
So
leading the championship. But I think what I'm most excited to see in H350 is how the Hendersons handle racing each other, all 3 of them on the course together, hopefully at one point.
Yep.
I'll definitely be sitting at their RV after the race to see what the fireworks are like.
it's gonna be a little brotherly love going on.
I can already hear Tyler.
So, see, I wasn't on with the interview with Bobby when he was interviewing, but I want to know: was he tired of coming? He just didn't want to come to Valleyfield and have to run on the outside for 2 qualifiers. So he's like, "Screw it! I'll just run the whole season and don't have to start on the outside for 2 heats."
Yeah, I think so. I think he knows competition's getting tougher. He's not going to be able to do that year in, year out. But
See, there's
We'll
always
see.
a way around rules. If you don't want to start on the outside for 2 heats, just run the whole season.
yep, exactly.
Yeah, I'm pumped for the 350 class this year. I think this is obviously the GP, and especially considering that one of you are going to be in nearly every heat that runs this year. But the 350 class is one that I always have to stop watching or stop working on the boat to just watch the start, watch the first turn, because it's an electric class. It's so fun to watch. You guys
Definitely.
both obviously I've been fortunate enough to race in it. I know Austin should be getting a chance this year, and hopefully me as well. But it's just such an entertaining class to watch.
It is. It's like
for sure.
a big 2.5. It's a 2.5 you don't have to keep as much momentum up with. You got to fly them, but you also have a little bit of, you can lift and drive it through things, especially in the rough water up there. And I think that's what makes some people be able to be out front and some people upside down up in that racing. You're definitely going to see a couple thrills and spills this year for sure. I do think I was looking at this list again. I think one old teammate, Paul Barber's coming back. I forgot he's running the whole series, and that dude never stops working. So you know that boat's different than it was last time, and it's going to be fast. And look forward to seeing him. Maybe get the monkey off the back, maybe not get as many penalties, and be up there in the final in a inside lane maybe and take a shot at a win.
I can't pronounce his last name, but Fred's running the other Hearn 350.
Yeah, he's running Donnie's boat. That'll be exciting as well. Another step up for him.
Yeah, another fast boat too.
Oh, and don't forget Joe Less.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
that's cool.
I mean, it's
many.
just adding layer on layer of competition in 350. It's gonna be crazy.
This is gonna be the best year for HRL ever.
Oh,
just
for sure.
The level of competition in
Competition-wise.
every class is so good.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's only growing. The Alex Manga, his ultimate goal that he has told me since pretty much he got his 350 was get his feet wet and an APBA, follow us around, kind of get his feet wet, learn about the sport more, and then jump into 350 and HRL. Which, I mean, if you want
Smart way of doing it.
you want to really race, gotta go there.
You got to. They got.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna have 3 qualifiers, 4 some places, and I really liked what HRL did in Brockville and what they do in Valleyfield, where they do a separate day but 2 qualifiers that are 3 laps apiece in a final. I mean, Friday, that's pretty awesome. I like to watch that 350 final. It's usually more fast boats, more intensity. Definitely a good show that they've mixed in there instead of running the normal format every weekend.
Is Brockville doing that again this year?
As far as I know, they are, but I'm not sure.
So we would race on Friday?
No, they do Saturday. Like, they do 2 separate days. They do Saturday and Sunday. And it's 2 separate days, 2 qualifiers and a final each day.
Gotcha.
They did that when, like, the Grand Prix weren't there. So now with the Grand Prix back in Brockville, I'm not really sure what they're going to do. But
Well,
I'm sure
for
we'll find out.
for the series, they're going to have to go to one day for GPs.
Yeah.
It's not going to work because you know how.
Yeah, the GPs will still
Yeah.
be the GPs will still be the 2 qualifiers, 1 qualifier, and a final. But the 350s, they just kind of wanted to put more action on the water since they didn't have as many GPs like last year. So I assume they would do the same thing. HRL runs a tight show so they can get the heats off no problem, and just add excitement for the fans.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
no doubt. No doubt. What about the so next I think Skiff class, right? That's another interesting one. Obviously, you got the Jimmy Stewart and the JS10 pretty dominant for quite a while now. I mean, the last several years for sure. But I'd say one that you can just slowly see him getting closer and closer and starting to challenge is the 113.
Louis.
Yeah, Louis.
Yeah. And it's cool seeing the dynamic between Jimmy and Peg and Louis, and I'm not sure who rides with Louis, but
His girlfriend, yep.
his girlfriend does. Okay,
Yep.
so it's fun seeing them because it's a very, very fun competitive relationship that they have going on. You know, I was holding the boat, the JS10 for Jimmy and them on the dock in Bahornwall last year, and I think Louis actually got around them in that heat, and they came in and they were like, "That's so cool for Louis," and it speaks to their their competitive spirit and their sportsmanship. But it's cool seeing that friendly battle competition going on between those two.
I believe
Definitely.
he actually, Louis was able to finish in front of Jimmy and Lake Apacon this year, and I think there was a penalty that ended up reversing that or something happened, but when they were pulling in, you could see Peg and Jimmy both pointing at him, giving him thumbs up still because they thought they won, and it's just so awesome seeing everyone really push them because I remember 2 years ago them at races, and it was pretty much just them. They show up, they got the boat ready, maybe 2 people helping them in the water, and they grinded for everything they have completed to do in that boat.
Yeah, definitely. That was a brand new boat not too long ago that they built themselves, and then Tom Packardini rigged, and got it all ready for them, and they've been slowly creeping up on it, getting faster and faster, and definitely going to be good to see them out there. I think, like you said, they're going to be competitive. You got Dave Greenlaw out there, and Max Awancio has been driving the wheels off of that thing, too, getting inside and doing a real good job. So it's going to be competitive. There's still some to be announced. You never know. We might show up with ours and just, throw a little wrench hole into everything. But it's definitely a good class. I mean, excitement, something different for the HRL fans. And as you see, you can wave to the crowd, and it's a good time.
It's good. It's fun watching the skiffs, especially at some of the courses like Valleyfield. It gets rough out there, and they're a wild class, man. Just watching. There's always, you have a lot of those moments, like when you hear the whole crowd kind of all at the same time, react to something. You see a lot of those in the skiff class. Obviously, you and Mason had your real big moment, but no, it's a fun class to watch. It's like you said, it's something different compared to all the other classes, but I think that makes it easier to appreciate the skiff class and love watching them, because it is a switch up, give you a different type of racing to watch.
For sure.
So when are you getting in one?
Dude, I don't know. Probably not.
You got to at least go for a flag lap. You're the only one on here that hasn't.
Probably not. We'll see.
Go for a flag lap with Billy. He'll tow you around a little bit. Maybe get you a little bit, but
I got back problems, and before you say anything, Bob, you haven't been in a skiff since you broke your back.
Oh, yeah.
So that you don't get to say that. He was thinking about it. You can see, I can tell he was already about to say it.
Oh, you know it.
So last class, GP class. I mean, I think this one might be the hardest one to pick. I don't necessarily want to say that because they're all hard, but with the increased competition this year, man, this is going to be
almost any boat can win.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. I'm glad to be a part of it for sure. But I mean, just Ken Brody's a great driver, but added Bobby King to the mix. He's fresh. He knows he puts that boat on limits. And that's a really fast boat, so it just ups that level of competition even more. I know Jack Lupton's down under. He hasn't raced much this winter. He's itching to go racing. I know he's down there riding goats, getting ready to come out here and try to beat us, but he told him he needs to work on his cardio a little bit because he kept getting wore out last year, so we'll see how that goes this year. But the competition is going to be awesome.
Goats.
Chasing goats. I thought he said riding, but it might have been something in that accent that I lost.
One
and
of the
thought
two.
he was riding.
Milking.
Riding, chasing. Riding, chasing. I don't know which one.
Milk and goat.
You got on the podcast, thought it was goats, but it was just tails.
It's just tails.
Did you say chasing goats or chasing boats? I can't understand you.
And then you got boats that I expect to see big improvements from. I think Eric Langevin in the 212 is going to take a big step forward this year. Obviously, they got some work done on that boat. I think you'll see the 104. They struggled a little bit, I think, with the engine program last year. So hopefully they have some things that they figured out in that regard. And that boat, we know that boat's fast. I mean, it's won races in the past. That haul. Like we said, Hop's going to be participating in at least the Valleyfield or HRL race.
Yeah.
It's just like we said in past episodes, you can't really pick a winner in any heat.
No, because I mean, going into last year, probably would have picked that Steeler, Hydrofished, Wild One, whatever it is. Dewey's got to stop changing the names. All he's trying to do is up his T-shirt sales.
Sell more merch.
He's trying to become the lead merch seller this year.
Yeah. He might need Mike Mavinsky back for that.
Oh man, Mike under that tent. Get your T-shirt. Get your T-shirt.
He's a pretty good T-shirt salesman.
But yeah, going into last year, everyone would have picked the Hydrofish. I mean, Hydrofish was undefeated for a long time. Now that boat has lost a couple finals, so it's mixing it up. I mean, Ken Lupton at the end of the year last year was running real fast. So
yeah, I think I think you're going to see too is a lot of people are going to be back on their A game. I feel like this year you had a lot of mixed match and people breaking down, people getting penalties, and a lot of things changed. I know, like you said, Ken Lupton was fast. I know he switched to a new ignition down there in New Zealand and plans to bring it over here because he was tired of getting wet down and the mag box getting wet and shutting off. I mean, he's fast, and when you have things like that happen, it's so frustrating as a driver.
And
I
he's
know
a hard
the feeling.
driver.
Yeah, he's
And
definitely
then
a hard driver.
And Scott Kropfeld, they just announced that he's the crew chief of the GP79 now. So, you know, he's going to have that on point, running a tight ship over there. So,
yeah, he's elevated their game too. I mean, since he came on with them, and then Jeff Bernard obviously doing the driving, but they've changed so much on that boat. Little things, not too major, but I mean, just tighten everything up. Jeff says it's one of the best boats he's ever driven, so they're definitely making improvements. And same thing, they need luck to fall their way on some of these finals, the big finals, and I'm sure it will this year. Or we're gonna hope that it doesn't happen for our sake, but we'll see. I think I'm gonna guess. Let's see how many events we got. 5, 6, 8 events, I think, with HRL and GPA. I'm gonna say you're only gonna have a repeat winner once, so one person will win twice. Everything else will be a different winner in a final.
that'd be interesting. That would be awesome to mix it up that much. It would definitely mix up the points coming down to the end of the year. That's for sure.
And we saw last year that winning finals, you know, in particular, but even just winning, you know, heats all the time, or being somebody that just wins heats, is not what you need. I mean, the Canada boy finished second by 4 points, and not that boat wasn't fast and they didn't have good finishes, but they, as far as I understand, finished every single heat the whole year.
Yeah, I mean, the Hydrofish missed the whole weekend in Brockville, so they lost all those points. I don't know, did they run the full weekend? I don't know if it was 100 points or 50 points they lost, but they lost that many points, and just that's how much the speed in that boat and being able to finish first or second in every qualifier all year made up the difference. And
it's I'm so pumped for the GP class this year. I'm excited to go race myself, but it's going to be so hard to like sit there and get the boat ready in between heats at races because everything is going to be so hard not to watch.
Yeah, it sucks. You guys are the class right after Grand Prix, so
yeah, right.
You're going to be you might be in the water to watch them at least.
Yeah, I'll do my best not to break down. If I do, I'm making sure I go to the infield so I can get a cool view. We want to give a special shout out to Donnie Davidson, a new fan of the Chasin Tails podcast. He's not a boat racer. I don't think he's ever been involved in boat racing. But we got word from Heather Johnson this week that he'd been waiting all week for the new episode. So we appreciate you, Donnie. Thank you for watching the podcast, and hopefully we can keep sharing some boat racing news with more guys like you that want to get into the sport.
It's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's very cool to see somebody else getting into the viewership and being interested
Podcast
in
is
boat racing.
already making an impact.
Right.
Can only hope.
And then what was
Yeah,
the
for
second
sure.
part?
So I would say now we got to get to know our hosts. We did it a little bit later in the episode this time, but we're going to keep it short with one question. Kyle, you haven't been racing too long, so it doesn't have to be racing. Base could be just around a race, watching your cousin win or your brother win, you know, those memories. But what is your favorite racing memory?
See, I'll be nice. You both won this weekend. I'd say my favorite racing experience. There's so many of them growing up at the races, but the Triple Crown weekend was just such a cool boat racing weekend. I mean, that was, you know, I think I could equate it to what I expect this year out of HRL. That was the top of the top in every class. I mean, from T-boat all the way up to GP. Unfortunately, you guys both came out on top that weekend. Brandon, you in the T-boat, and Bob, you in the 2.5 stock. But it was obviously cool seeing you guys win. You know, we had Brandon racing in the 5-liter class, Uncle George racing in the GP class that year, and then that storm after the GP final that year.
Incredible.
That was crazy.
As much as I'm sure that sucked for a lot of people, I thought it was so damn cool.
Yeah,
I was sitting back at piling stuff in the motorhome, and I was like, it's freaking awesome.
It sucked really bad for one person that got trapped upside down in a porta john.
Oh,
But hey, it's a funny story to tell.
What about you, Awesome?
I'm kind of stuck between two two moments, both with Lil Billy Sewell. I would have to say either the first time in Cambridge, Maryland that we won the Eastern Divisionals. I actually still remember, Brandon, you taking a picture of us holding the checkered flag, and that was just a super special moment. But either that or just hearing the announcement down in Lakeland my first year that we secured the national championship was, I didn't think it was actually real. I mean, I technically wasn't even a rookie yet, and I won a national championship.
That's
So
pretty big deal for sure.
to get that with
Yeah.
Billy Sewell and have them trust me to ride in their boat with them was something I'll never forget.
Does it take trust? Are you sure?
Something like that.
Or were you the last man on the totem pole?
Hey, I'm light.
Light, exactly.
I'm light.
Helps a turn. What about you guys?
I would say, man, there's been so many, like said, through my dad racing, Poppy and Bobby, and all these different moments in time. But for me personally, I'd have to say 2013 Valleyfield. I went into that weekend knowing we had a chance to win 350. It was only, I think, my second year running GP, and I had plans to propose to Carson, and didn't want to buy a ring because I didn't want to jinx it, didn't want to change anything up for that weekend. So I got printed out a piece of paper. The only one that knew was Little Billy, and we went into the final, and I was able to pull it off, win the 350 final. So got down on one knee, all nervous, proposed, and then it was like, all right, gotta go. Went and jumped in the GP, and I mean, my world flipped upside down then to be able to pull off a Grand Prix win, especially when it was unexpected. I mean, we had a fast boat, but it wasn't the best boat, and just kept charging in that final until just lane broke, and it was like, holy crap, this is really happening, and just a surreal moment you'll never forget. So then I was like, damn, I should have proposed this time, but oh well, it's done with.
You can't bet
do
on
it
that.
again.
You can't bet on that.
But yeah, just that feeling of your first. I mean, I've had many firsts in Valleyfield, but your first Grand Prix win, it was just couldn't believe it. Still can't believe it.
Yeah.
I love that memory. I mean, we were sitting at home in the living room. I think Bob was over at the house, and we were all, we kind of settled into like, okay, he's second place. This is an awesome weekend, great finish. And then I think Bob saw just lane start breaking, and we were like, oh, no freaking way. And for the last lap, it's like, all right, don't break down, don't break down.
Yeah, I held my breath that whole last lap. So what about you, Bob?
I don't know, dude. There's a lot of things I can look back at. I can say is my favorite. Anything from winning the Triple Crown, because we had 20-some 2.5 stocks that weekend. Two things that come down to it. Probably one wasn't even a race. It was going out and testing a GP for the first time with Brandon on the water. It was me and him, and our Poppy was watching. So that's probably one of my favorite moments ever in a boat, and it wasn't even a race. So
yeah, that was a pretty cool moment.
yeah, so that's probably it for me. That's my favorite. My second favorite's probably, if it has to be a racing moment. I flipped the boat in 2005 in Valleyfield. Bought a new boat, went out and broke it the next heat the following weekend. Got our old boat back, and then I think I went like 13 straight races winning. And then at Hampton, Virginia, won the Nationals. And I didn't really settle in. I won the Nationals, whatever, but I get back to the dock, and Uncle George jumped in the water tackling me. So that was a that right there just like made it like one of like the top moments after it. That was a race and not just out testing.
Uncle George jumping on a boat and then into the
No,
water. No way.
yeah.
Never
Rather than fixing the boat, he jumped in because he was so excited. So it was pretty awesome.
I do have to ask, Bob, what about losing to both your little brothers? Is that one up there? Is it at
That
the
was
bottom?
technical.
Or is that one
That was
Hey,
technical.
it's still on
hitting the
paper.
buoy? Hitting the buoy.
Okay, brother. It's on paper.
It's on paper, brother.
I'm just
Special
a buoy
teams,
hunter.
special brothers. But
That's
no, yeah, you guys just better write that down in the record books because, you know, this is 2024 is coming out, and if Barker brings his boat back out to one of the races you guys are at, I'm getting in, and you guys better.
So it just sounds like we're gonna have to call back on the trusty old Jeff Dobis or possibly Dennis Wright and Brandon. Who's someone around your height that you
Man, I
can
don't
strap
know.
in nice and
I
tight
don't know.
to?
Maybe I'll have to smooth Al Thompson. I need a advantage here.
What are you talking about? He'll
Just
just
build another one.
No, he'll just take over to 35. He's putting it together.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, we get what's his name who just bought the boat? The
Woody
Prescott.
Yeah, we can borrow his. Yeah.
Prescott. Need to borrow the boat. We'll all get out there.
Yeah, that'd be pretty
That'd be a
insane.
cool
All four
moment.
of us.
We'll be out there. Next thing you know, we see Uncle George pass us in a vintage.
Yeah.
Come whipping out on a jet ski or something.
The Thompsons. He could bring the Thompsons Eve runabout TM special
Oh,
that they had at
right.
Waterford.
Yeah.
And he
Just
was like
squirting.
bouncing around in that thing.
No.
He's just holding a bottle of
we gotta
Nos.
get Ronnie out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
Oh,
gotta get Ronnie in a boat. That's I hope this year goes well for our team and we have everything set at the end of the year, man. We'd like to go test the Grand Prix, get a bunch of people in there, maybe get Ronnie in it, my grandpa, maybe Dave, get him in there.
Gotta get my
So,
dad.
yeah,
My
that's
dad
awesome.
has been around boat racing since,
It's the only one.
for a long time. He's never been a boat. Probably because he can't fit in a lot of boats. I mean,
Dude, we got him in an outboard this year.
We got
Yeah,
him.
we
in
did get him in
that
an
two and a
outboard.
half. If we took the lid off, he fit in the 2.5.
yeah. Well,
He
put
does
him in a
have a big
GP.
head.
Put him in a GP. We might need
So-
to order a new helmet.
I actually remember, and we have it here somewhere. It's in an old Propeller magazine, I believe. And it was Mom, Patty Hayes, in 2003, I believe. And she wrote about how everyone in the family, besides at the time Aunt Sandy and Dave, didn't drive a boat.
Well,
And
Aunt Sandy
she said
tested
if
a
they,
boat.
and then Aunt Sandy tested.
Yeah.
He still has not. And at the end of that article, it said if he didn't, he would be kicked out of the family.
He's got
So it's got to happen.
It's
Or-
time to-
It's
We're
time
gonna
to
lose-
put up or shut up.
We might be able to get him in the
Exactly.
2.5 this year. He ain't gonna have a ton of clearance, but it's tested. We can throw him
Yeah,
out there
exactly.
for a couple laps.
Good.
I think he should get in and ride in the skiff with Mason.
Oh, damn.
He should drive the skiff with me.
Drive the skiff with Mason, yeah.
We
with
would
the
need some-
radio
We would
radio
need some
setup, like
rear
shut up,
facing
Mason.
GoPros.
There's about 2 words that would be said, and I cannot repeat either of them.
So let's wrap
Alright,
it up
well-
with our Hydro 101 actuator versus wing pedal, foot pedal assembly. What's the differences? Why do drivers prefer one or the other?
I think it's all what you're used to. There's this long-going argument that pedals are better, and then actuators are better because, or a pedal is better because it's faster, or actuators better because it's smoother. It's all what you're good with. I mean, I can go drive a boat with a pedal. I can go drive a boat with an actuator. I feel more comfortable with the actuator because I've been doing it 10 times longer, but it's just what you're used to. I mean, yeah, you can dump the wing once you set the fin, dump the wing, try to get pack air under it faster, but at the end of the day, you're trying to split hairs. I say it doesn't really matter. I say it's whatever you're comfortable with.
Another thing is, like, it's different from boat to boat. I know last year I was able to drive Barker's boat, which had an actuator. Our boat ran an actuator, and ours was very slow moving.
Yeah.
And Barker's was you touched it and it was down or up
Yeah.
very quick.
Yeah.
So it's different from boat to boat.
Yeah, different speeds of actuators and electronics, higher voltage, those kind of things change it for sure. Yeah, I'm a foot pedal guy all day. I mean, I've ran the T-boat with an actuator and was awesome to fly the boat with that, but ever since I hit 2.5 stock and 5 liter, I'm just way more comfortable with it. And we tried this new 2-pedal setup in the Grand Prix, like the Unlimiteds, and it's getting back to comfort. I mean, learning what to do and things you do with just one single foot pedal. You got to retrain your left leg, but it's getting used to it. I mean, it's all about change, trying to make your boat go faster and make you go faster. Comfort's everything, I think, in a driver.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all about preference, I believe. But when it comes down to it, say the foot pedal is faster. I mean, it's not like you're picking up 10 miles an hour through a corner because of it. I mean,
No.
but there is something about fine tuning, and I think it's very hard to fine tune a wing with a foot pedal in rough water. But it can be done. I mean, just
Yeah, it's probably a lot harder in like a 2.5 stock and then a 355 GP. I mean, GP, you're down the straightaway in 10 seconds, so
Yeah.
you really don't have much time to react anyway with
Yeah.
an actuator. So a lot of people just leave them there. I mean, I think that's the thing with the actuator. You can leave it in one spot and run the whole race course, and you might go a second a lap faster, but you're at least stable and you know what it's going to do.
Yeah, I think that's what will be the biggest learning curve for me switching to the wing pedal this year is like actually remembering that I have to move my foot. Because even when I started last year, like when I almost dumped it in Valleyfield, like that was 100% because I forgot to touch the wing.
Are you
coming up-
guys-
Go ahead.
Are you guys 1 foot wing pedal or 2 wing pedals?
Yep,
One.
one foot.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I think I don't know that the learning curve of like how to operate it will be that tough because I know it's the simulator playing, on a video game, but I do have kind of the muscle memory feeling for that, and I've spent countless hours messing with that, and I know it's going to feel different, and it'll take some getting used to, but I feel like I've learned a little bit about how to, the subtle movement. You can't just be letting all the way off, pushing all the way down. That's not good for speed, and ultimately that can lead to an accident just as easily.
Yeah, and there's 2 different ways to run a foot pedal wing too. You can be reactionary or you can be proactive. I'm more of a proactive guy. I like to kind of hold the wing and feel the boat fly and never get it out of shape. Where you see it like Andrew Tate that can fly it, put it right up high, almost about to blow over, and dump the wing, pull it back down. Just 2 different driving styles. I mean, it's anything is what you're comfortable with, the way you want to drive, and getting used to your own style.
No doubt.
So our official Chasin Tails Podcast merch dealer is River City Printing out of Madison, Indiana. They do our crew shirts, our hats, our T-shirts. So if you need new crew shirts, like you see us wear in the pits, River City Printing, Kyle Bipes. Need hats, koozies, hoodies, you name it. If it can be printed or
Tow
embroidered,
ropes.
he's got it. Tow ropes.
Custom tow ropes.
Custom buoys.
He's making custom buoys. Making
Nice.
custom buoys. They'll put,
They're called bobbies.
They're called bobbies. You can get it stitched up to where it fits over, your grill at home, but it's a buoy. It's just a grill cover, and it says Bobby.
He likes to keep the logos nice and small, but well placed.
Yeah,
Well
but so,
placed. Well placed.
but in all seriousness, shout out to Kyle Bipes at River City Printing. They do phenomenal work on their T-shirts, their hats, their racing shirts. They've
Doing
been
trophies now.
They're trophies now. They support the Spodcast. They support. They sponsor our boats.
Madison Regatta.
Yeah, Madison. He's president or
Vice
vice president.
president,
Vice
yeah.
president of Madison Regatta. So all around, they're into boat racing. They love boat racing. They support it. They're putting on a boat race. So shout out to them. And if you need anything, please look them up. Ask us. We'll get you in contact with Kyle, and we'll get you hooked up.
Yeah, definitely. Special thanks to River City Printing for being part of this podcast. And they're actually also designing some GP Challenge merch. So we're going to have some really cool,
Oh, there you go.
really
Nice.
cool shirts. Trying to do some unique things, he's saying, and working with the team with GPA and HRL to create something unique, something everybody wears. And I will say, I've worn a lot of T-shirts over the years and racing T-shirts, and these are the most comfortable. There is no sacrifice in the quality of the T-shirt. A lot of people throw their logos or their team names all over just regular cotton T-shirts. These are more polyester, comfortable to wear, fit you better, and definitely good stuff. Good stuff.
That's what I gotta say. That's like one thing. Like, so you will wear a lot of not trying to bash anyone, but some other teams' T-shirts, and they're wide or they're too short. And then the T-shirts that they use actually fit good. I mean, look at Brandon. I mean, it's just bulging his muscles out.
No.
So,
Flexing.
but no, they don't go for the cheapest T-shirt to make the biggest profit. They use good T-shirts for their stuff, and then even the race shirts are nice. I mean, look them up. I mean, if you guys need anything, their hats are phenomenal. I love their hats.
Yeah.
Probably.
Kyle and Forrest have done a great job growing their business in Madison. Love supporting local sporting events and all that too. So I'm glad we've been able to bring them into our boat racing world, give them a bigger spot with using TKO and now using our podcast platform here. He said he's going to have us some merch, so we're going to have some new Chasin Tails wear coming soon.
Yeah.
We're already starting to design some stuff so we can sell to you folks, and you can support our podcast and keep us growing because we enjoy bringing this thing to you.
Yeah, so thank you for supporting the podcast. And
this has been episode 3 of the Chasin Tails Podcast. We appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to smash that like button, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. Have a good one.
peace.